As a creative child, well, did I have before? Not so much about art. In fact, there was no gallery to look at. But I had clay pots, I had taka dolls, I had crayons and pad paper, very simple things. And I drew all the time. And well, my father, who was a doctor, could draw. He drew well. And I had an uncle and other relatives who could also draw. Just drawing that and clay pieces, I had no consciousness about being artist. And growing up in Paete, I didn't grow in Paete. My parents were from there. But I spent several summer vacations in Paete, watching the wood carvers and women making taka, painting taka dolls. Those were my concepts of doing art, not high art. When I was in high school, I already knew I wanted to be either a writer or an artist who would paint, because I learned from my world history all about the paintings. The books then were illustrated with Western paintings to show history. And I guess that was a late orientation to me about art, considering I didn't grow up looking in galleries or watching even Amor Solo, except in some postcards. So I was quite passionate about being an artist because I thought in school I grew up being a blackboard artist. My teachers knew that I could draw and make designs. So I was always assigned the bulletin board and the illustrations in the blackboard. Those were simple things that encouraged me to go into art. I had no gender consciousness then. I just knew I wanted art. I didn't even notice if the artists were men or women. The art that I saw early were, Manansala and Amor Solo and Anita Magsaysayho. Those were the examples. Well, I became aware that Anita Magsaysayho was just one. And then Purita Calao Ledesma was one woman who supported so many artists, and most of them were men. That didn't bother me then. I just had the passion to do my work, and I had no threat. I mean, I didn't feel I was a threat to anybody or the men were threatening me. I know my classmates and my teachers looked at my work seriously because I was a serious person trying to do my art. What attracted me to printmaking? The only printmaking I knew was silk screen. That was the only thing that was taught us in fine arts in UP then. And being an advertising major, we were taught silk screen. We call it serigraphy when applied to fine arts. And one time, Ofelia Helveson, a young teacher then in Humanities UP, went by. And I was still in my senior year. She said, "Hey, sumali naman kayo sa PAP, there's printmaking. You can learn printmaking there, and there's a competition. But I told her, I only know silkscreen. Printmaking nga yun, she said, printmaking yun. Anyway, she was really the one who encouraged me. And after graduation, I was looking for what was I good in doing, really. So I went to PETA, I went to PAP, I went to AAP, and I found my heart there in printmaking. I saw how it challenged the imagination and it challenged the day-to-day job. Ang hirap, it's so difficult to do etchings. But I think the challenge was the one that kept me going. You can work on a design for days and weeks and you still haven't gotten what you want. And then you make proofs, and you make proofs and proofs and proofs every day. You can work 8 hours a day, and it's not enough, but it kept me going because of the challenge. And then there were, well, Ophelia, I watched her do work, Orlando Castillo, they were etchers. Mang Maning was there, although he was busy teaching other students and doing workshops. And I watched also Rudy Samonte. Well, Petit Calaguas was there, and Brenda Fajardo. We were all together. They were my seniors who were very supportive and inspired me to go on working with intaglio and etchings. My favorite medium is etching and aqua tint. I like the quality of the black and white, and I also like the soft ground etching. I like texture so much. I can come up with textures in black and white and gray and etchings. Well, that was my favorite, I should say, because I almost don't do it anymore because of it's back-breaking and it's so time-consuming. But that's really my favorite. It's a printmaker's print, doing etchings and intaglios. But I like mixing them. So you notice I have etchings with aqua tint, and I put collagraph cardboard. And I was quite early experimenting with photo engraving, which I did, and photo silkscreen, which I did in commercial shops because I had a background of advertising. So it's a good blend. And I loved history, so I read history, but on the tip of my hands were technology then. It's old technology now because everything is digital. So it's a good blend. I didn't like working commercially, but my father was right. You go into something where you will earn, I thought. So I said, okay, I won't be a painter, but I'll study. I won't study painting, I'll study advertising, so I can live through it. Well, I graduated, I became a painter and artist, surviving up to now. Not through commercial, but using also some commercial technology. There are more. I think there are so many women artists now, to the point that I see exhibits where men are outnumbered. Aren't you lucky? Because several years ago, when we founded Kasibulan, we were just, when we could count fingers. But now there are so many women artists that I think the men, I don't know, the men are also asking, but why are there many women artists now? Kasi magaling. It's good that our women artists are good and are stronger too, because women are multitaskers. Even if they have a family to raise, like, well, I'm graduated of that because I'm a grandmother. You have a family to raise, children to look after too, and so many tasks. You even have, some have even 9-to-5 jobs and so forth. But the women are so good in balancing that. Keep on to that, but take care that we don't become unbalanced either, because we support men and women and other genders together with ourselves. We don't threaten. We're for social justice. Okay. The young artists in this digital age, well, I advise that you work every day and do your research about our past. Learn from your elders, because they didn't do things the way you are doing things now. Well, we older ones think you're doing a much easier job. Maybe it's not. It's also presumptuous to say that, because you have all the technologies at hand. But I think it pays if you learn your history, also even history of techniques, because you can adapt old techniques and contemporize them, improve on them. Keep on asking questions, keep on experimenting, not just with machines or with the computer, but also with your hands. Don't forget to work with your hands and feel with your hands, and work every day with discipline and commitment.